morning. As you come and you gather, just take a few deep breaths as we join together. It's Monday morning. Good morning, Mama Penny. Good morning, Mama Dana.
It's like it's Mother's Day.
we need all the mothers this morning. Yeah, just surrounded by the mama.
Grace is present. Here's a mama for you. Mama Mary's gonna be right behind us. Beautiful Blu-ray.
I'm gonna share this here really quick.
Blu-ray. This is this beautiful aura. The blue light, the Blu-ray. We always take pause just to allow those of you that want to gather. But we also know that many are going to watch this later.
Maybe this is a good way to start it. Just quieting our minds. There was a time when I was reaching for you. I now have realized your love that brought me to. Before my breath, I heard you singing over me. That the thought of you was cradled in this love for me. Beloved, you're my mind. Beloved, touch my soul. Beloved, now you have all of my heart. Everlasting love, where I am still and know. Everlasting love, I'm following you home. Everlasting love that's swallowing me whole. Oh, swallow me whole now. I surrender to love. For now this garden as it comes into full bloom, and every angel you've appointed to rescue, join in the song and dance, caught up in this love, releasing heaven here, right here and now. We hear you call. Beloved, you're my mind. Beloved, touch my soul. Beloved, now you have all of my heart. Every piece of my heart, even when it's hard. Everlasting love, everlasting love. I surrender to this everlasting love. It allows me to forgive. It allows me to see clearly. It allows me to rest. Everlasting love, where I am still and know. Everlasting love, I'm following you home. Everlasting love, that's swallowing me whole. Kadosh, 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 Adonai Sabaoth. Kadosh, 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 Adonai Sabaoth.
So in this space, our intention is to speak from that one source, one power, that one mind that we all share, which we have so many, numerous names for. We just call it love. In the center of love is where you dwell and we dwell. It's what animates us, it's what guides us, it's what nurtures us. It's what sings through Heather. May we be swallowed whole in this now moment. So today we wanted to journey through forgiveness, just to what we're seeing reflected in our local universe is an opportunities to go deeper into forgiveness. And we're talking to dear soul family and friends that are being faced with conditions that are giving them an opportunity to go deeper into what forgiveness means. And the idea of the freedom, what true forgiveness is. Many of us have maybe multiple things that come up when we think about forgiveness, we've all been hurt, we've all been wounded, we've all been misaligned, mistreated, falsely accused in some capacity. And maybe some of us are still carrying it. We're sitting there showing our scars and our merit badges of what we've been through, and we talk about it, and we journey it, we define ourselves by our scars and wounds. I know I have. I know that I've been in a journey where I can look and go, banded by my powers, the parents that I have had journeyed with, in some capacity. We're always telling a story. We have our story.
Right. Sometimes we're reinforcing a story that's not serving us.
And sometimes you don't even know how deep this is until the onion keeps peeling. And the only way that you can see it is in relationship.
Boy, do we.
And it doesn't have to be a beloved union, but in your relationships, period. Your relationships at work, your relationships with life.
We were talking this morning about how you can do all of the spiritual practice and have all of kinds of knowledge and perhaps even wisdom. Wisdom is that truth when it meets experience and it becomes something that's really alive and moving out of us as our life truth. And you can have all of that and not have true love and forgiveness, and it's all for naught. And there's a block, and I think we've come to a place where we're just being called into deeper forgiveness in our own lives with each other. There's these opportunities that are showing themselves that the only response that's going to move us forward is to let go and forgive. And forgive doesn't mean forgive but not forget. Love doesn't keep a record of wrongs. And that's really hard for our ego to accept because we want to keep the story going. We want to stay in this victim place where we feel there's a certain soul-soothing element to the victimizer mentality, you know? But when we really forgive, we forget. It's erased from our memory in terms of, you know, you may not actually forgive or forget the circumstance, but you are released. The other person may never know that you forgave them, but you are freed up to move forward without hanging on to the burden of that. It's like that hot air balloon going up, dropping the bags over the side, where you can only rise as you let those things really truly go and they're not plaguing your consciousness.
Mm-hmm. You know, and this is, I think, you may have chosen this topic before even my event happened. I don't remember the order of events, but this week
I think we did actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This week I had, you know, it's interesting. We're getting ready to build our container, our website, and we have an amazing radio interview coming up on the 17th that we're excited about with Carrie Murphy called Straight Talk for the Soul. And it's propelling us to craft our container and our offer and what we want to bring to the world and what do we have to offer. And we've been calling in for testimonials from dear friends and those of us, those friends and family that have walked this journey with us. And interestingly, you know, I mean, most of them are very loving and beautiful, and you guys inspire and yada, 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 beautiful stuff, you know? But in a world of duality, I got a beautiful testimony that caused me to go, oh, Father, forgive her, for she knows not what she's saying. And it was this viral, venomous place of just, wow, really? And it hurt. It hurt. It hurt that somebody would feel that, you know, and where inside, you know, when somebody says something and accuses you, when the accuser, whether it be a person or just your own accuser, you know, the liar, the tyrant within, when they're saying something to you, when you, that egoic, that small inner child is screaming at you, you know, where inside does it rest in maybe a belief that you have about yourself? You know, and that's where we're triggered, right? Because ultimately somebody could say a bunch of words, bunch of phrases and things that you're like, wow, that's not anywhere close to who I am. And you've clearly gone insane for a minute. And it doesn't have a charge, but at some point, you know, this gave me an opportunity, and it hurt. And I pray, you know, at first I was telling Heather, I mean, this is a little bit of raw and real, but it hurt, and I didn't want to bless her. I'm like, you know what? I've given her time and time again. And we'll just call her Mary Kay. That's her name for today. Mary Kay. And I chose to bless her in the end. You know, I chose to look at her and go, and it's not her. It's not her. As I'm looking at her, you know. But I want to, it brought up a story that I share with you. There's a beautiful book by Neil Donald Walsh called The Soul and the Sun. It's a little kid's book. And in the beginning it talks about this little soul that's this light, and it's with the light. It doesn't know it's a candle flame. It's all part of a collective of light. But it doesn't know what it is because there's no contrast of what it's not. And so it goes, I want to go and experience what it is to be light. And God says, okay, you're going to go to earth, and you're going to live in a world of duality, and you're going to see what it's like to be in a space where it's not as bright. And so the soul goes, and there's a little soul going, I'll go with you. I'm going to help you, remind you. It'll be I love you so much. I'm going to go with you, and I'm going to be the perpetrator. I'm going to be the victimizer. And I'm going to do something because you said you want to learn what forgiveness is. And so I'm going to do something so atrocious to you, so harmful, that you're going to learn what it is to be forgiveness. But I just pray that you remind me of who I am, because I might forget, because we had this agreement. And so this Mary Kay, I came to a place where going, oh my God, we agreed to do this. You signed up to be this role, and oh my God, I wouldn't have learned what Jesus said, Father, forgive them, they know not what they do. Pray for those who mistreat you. Bless those who curse you. And it's not easy to do. And so we go deeper into the path of what it means to truly forgive and not hold the pain and hold the resentments and hold the anger, because this is an old adage. We've been saying this for so long. You hold these resentments and you hold these scars inside, and you think that, I'm going to hold this person captive. And what you're doing is you're drinking the poison and expecting another person to die. And you're just imprisoning yourself. There's a book I'm going to read here in a little bit. It's called The Power of Forgiveness. It's this little bird flying free. Freedom.
What a journey it is. It's, the places that we don't forgive others are really only tantamount to the places we haven't forgiven something inside of us, because everything we're looking at is a reflection of ourselves. And like Jason said earlier, if something comes up in our experience and we're seeing something mirrored back to us that is painful, it's such an amazing opportunity, if we can see it that way, for us to look inside and say, where does this exist inside of me? But we're going to keep creating these kinds of experiences and have the opportunity over and over again. I think I shared something. I was driving in the car not very long ago, and often, I'm sure it's the same for you guys, the car and the shower often bring great epiphanies. But one of them was...
And the toilet.
And the toilet, yeah. What's the commonality there?
Bathroom, water.
Well, isolated time, right?
Yeah.
That we get these opportunities, these cycles within cycles that continue to come up, and we're actually experiencing another cycle. It's almost like we are in a mirror cycle of last year, this time exactly. And life gives you the opportunity to, with everything that you've learned, and it says, let's try again. And you get an opportunity again to see how you respond, how you choose to respond. You get a reflection back to you of what you feel like in the face of something very similar. Does it hurt the same? Does it spiral you downward the same? Or have you risen to a place where you know a little more of the truth of the being that you are, which is only love? And when we do, our only response can be love. And let me tell you, sometimes, especially, in the day-to-day beloved path that we are walking with intentional digging into our own inner landscape, and then learning with each other we have an opportunity every hour to respond differently with each other and to take a higher path. And when we do, something opens up, and it's almost like we will pass certain tests, and it's like, okay, we're done with that one. We don't need to keep going around that one. But then there are those ones in our lives that they keep coming up. And we're magnificent. You are magnificent. You are magnificent. You are. I'm so grateful for your love and the ways that we get to grow together, and the ways that we get to grow together and reflect truth back to each other. So when these things come up, if you've got family members or family situations or things at work that keep presenting you something over and over again, and you're like, why am I here again? Bless it, because you're being given the opportunity to look deeper and respond with love.
I don't know about them. I don't know about you. But there's a place inside me. I think it was last week I am tired of the tests. Stop testing me.
No more tests.
I've proven faithful. I've proven courageous. I've proven over and over. Stop testing. And I get tired of the test. And that's the truth. We get tired of the test. But the tests are calling us to a greater expansion. There's a truth called the ring passeth not. There's our sphere of consciousness, who we are. You're like this balloon, right? You're expanded, and you don't know. It has to deflate a little bit and then goes out a little bit more. And there's that our levels, our boundaries of what we know, of where we've experienced. and then we expand, because the nature of God, the nature of consciousness, the nature of the isness of who we are is ever expanding. It's never stagnant. And so we are God. We are going to expand. And so in those expansions, what happens is that, like, here it is. We're crafting this container of who and what we're all here to offer. We're stepping in. We're saying, yes, we are showing up. We got our number called. Yes, we're going to sign up and show up. We're going to suit up and show up, right? And then it's like, okay, really? Do you know who you are? How about now? And so what happens is I've always seen it in my mind's eyes. Consciousness, our life is a wave, right? Mm-hmm. It moves in kind of a liquid form, right? Plasma. And it hits the ring passeth not. It hits this boundary of what we are. And it comes and it comes and it goes whoosh. And it pushes the boundary a little bit. And the boundary pushes back. Boom. And then boom, 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 right? And so it's hitting this place. So we have these tests, these opportunities to go, do you know who you are? Truly? Ernest Holmes wrote, in the hour of need, if you depart from what you know, if you depart from truth, it proves you don't know truth. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You don't know. Mm-hmm. You can't sit there and say, I have faith that there's a God that loves me. I believe in the infinite source of all good, if we are continuing to doubt, worry, and get into fear. Mm-hmm. Does love win? Does love prevail? Does love heal? Where are we not choosing love? Does forgiveness give me freedom? If you truly believe that, where are we not forgiving? And more importantly, everybody, I stress this within my own being, and I say this to you, where are you not forgiving yourself? You can't give something to somebody that you don't have. And so where is it that you haven't forgiven? Where have you not let yourself off the hook? What mistakes are you still holding yourself captive for? Blame and shame. Mm-hmm.
Shame is the biggest deterrent to intimacy I think there is. I've carried a lot of shame from my past. I have a wake of destruction that, in my unconsciousness made choices that influenced and affected a lot of people. And as I've grown and healed and surrendered to mending those places within myself that caused those poor decisions in the first place, looking back at all of those contrasts are the very things that guide us home. This is the story of the prodigal son. He's home with the father, and then he leaves, and he goes into this world of contrast. Everything that he hadn't experienced when he was with the father and had everything he needed. But he goes out in the sloth and the slums of his own experience that he creates. And only then does he recognize the magnificence of the experience that he had with his father. And he goes, I would go back to that and just be a servant if I could, because I realize now how loved I am in the safety of this father's house, this mother's house. And so often as we grow spiritually, we go on these journeys where the wounding of our life starts reflecting in poor choices and destruction. And we get to the end of ourselves and go, that's not what I want. That's not what I want for me. That's not what I want my life to reflect. Mm-hmm. And often as we're making our way out of that back to wholeness, part of that is carrying the weight of the destructive choices that we've made. But I want to tell you right now, please hear our heart on this. That shame and guilt has no purpose whatsoever. Shame and guilt will only keep me from moving forward and trusting that life is always pulling us forward. It will keep us in our relationships from really bearing our souls so that we can know each other in truth and wholeness, and being willing to be like, I just don't have it all together. And that's definitely, Jason has helped me immensely with that, because my tendency is to run and I get shameful and I want to hide from that place where those burdens of the past. But guys, it's time. This is a new year, and there is not a better moment to say no more. No more. I'm going to move forward knowing that I am being called forth in wholeness. I'm going to forgive myself. I'm going to see others through the lens of forgiveness. And if you have to ask your whoever you call, God, angels, whatever, moment to moment, I need help releasing. Please help me wear the lenses of compassion for myself, for others. Life changes when we start to do this, and we're being called to a deeper level of forgiveness. We really are. It's the key to unlock, because if we can't do it, guys, the world can't do it. We are the bringers of the new reality, and forgiveness, extreme forgiveness, is the key.
And I think I've said this before, but I know for myself, and I thank you for acknowledging that space. I learned a long time ago that when I'm weak, I'm strong. And I never want myself, to come across that I have all the answers.
No. Heavens no.
I just freely want to give what I've been given. That's been my only reason why I speak when I speak. It's about, my God, I'm inspired. And I know that where I am, you are, we are one and the same. And so, good night from Portugal. We want to say hello. Namaste to all of you
I saw Victoria.
that are saying hi. Victoria's here.
Yes.
And just thank you so much for just being present and opening your heart to hearing what's on our hearts today. But it's important. You all have all your answers.
Yes.
You have your answers right within you. We're not going to tell you something that you don't already know. We're just here to remind each other.
Yeah.
To remember who we are. And, in a sacred community that we attend often, there's a vision statement: love only, forgive everything, and remember who you are. And if you remember who you are, that you are the divine in form, that you are whole, perfect, and complete as the God presence that you are the infinite in a finite form, love and forgiveness is just inevitable. But we forget who we are, so we're here just to remind you that we are God. Really quickly,
that statement, thank you, James Mellon. It's really interesting. Love only, forgive everything, and remember who you are. And they're all like amazingly pregnant statements, each one of them themselves. But the way it's almost like they go forwards and backwards. The way to remember who we are is choosing love in every moment, choosing forgiveness in every moment. And those seem very simple in the statement as a meme. But to do that, remember those little bracelets, what would Jesus do? It was funny that we heard that earlier today. What does love do in this situation? Take some time to really contemplate the situations that are plaguing you, that you feel are those ones that you keep experiencing over and over again. What would love do in this situation? Because sometimes we get into those situations and we've lost our mind and we can't even see the forest through the trees to know what love would do, because already we've been consumed by our temporary insanity. And so these are wonderful things to really I know I'm going to contemplate deeper on these things in this situation when we're struggling and we can't see the same goal in a moment, when we're both in our victim mentality and we're doing our shadow dance. I want to think beforehand, how would love respond here? How would love as me choose something that would move us to peace again? How can I forgive? How can I release myself so that I can have compassion in the moment and understand the other person's point of view, where you're not feeling so wrapped up about what you need in this moment, but what they're experiencing as well.
I love you. It's good. It's good to be here now. And so thank you for being here now. Those of you that are here now, and knowing that those of you that are watching later are here now. And I want to read something to you that I woke up after this occasion that had happened. The next morning I looked, we were house sitting, and at this house there was this book called The Power of Forgiveness by Joan Gattuso, who I believe I'm saying that correct. But she wrote the book, The Course in Love. And forgiveness is... So I open it up and I want to read to you what I read. And so I invite you in this now to just open your heart, cease the mind chatter, cease all that, and bring to mind maybe those beings, those maybe it's as large as the government, maybe it's wherever it is, wherever that is for you. Bring that to mind. Those places, maybe it's even yourself, but just bring that to mind as I read this. If you long to awaken, do it now. If you need to forgive yourself or anyone or anything, do it now. If you want to be unshackled, take off your self-made chains now. Be free now. Do your spiritual practice now. Do not wait until the angel of death is knocking on your door. Be kind now. Be generous now. Be caring now. Be forgiving now. Be prayerful now. Be valuable to others now. The freedom that forgiveness offers has to be experienced. I can tell you about it, but only you can know it. It is your willingness to forgive that lifts you out of your self-made hell and brings you into the light. Through forgiveness, you demonstrate your release, your self-imposed prison. Forgiveness acknowledges your holiness, your magnitude, your oneness with God. Through forgiveness, you can think clearly, and the clear memory of who and what you are returns to your mind. Forgiveness liberates your soul. Through forgiveness, you find peace. Stop and feel the simple power in the above statements of truth. I think of the legions I've known who have made such misery for themselves because they simply cannot or will not get over and beyond a hurt from the past. The event is ever kept alive in their minds and psyches, and through constantly reliving it, they continue to keep themselves in hell. Hell is just a state of mind. It is not a place you're going to for all the wrongs you've ever done, right? I believe all of us here can agree to that. Heaven is not a place you're going to go to after you've done all your good, and Peter's going to be at the gates going, well done, good and faithful servant. Here's your list of do-gooders. You get to come in and play a harp on a cloud and forever and ever and ever. How freaking boring is that? I always used to think, I don't want to play a harp on a cloud forever and ever. Hell and heaven are states of consciousness. We can be in heaven now. If people could only realize the power they possess, the power of their thoughts, again, as Emerson said, we become what we think about all day long. And if we are clinging to a grievance with anger, for instance, then what we become is more angry. That keeps us miserable. To live an illusion of negativity about our life is not to live in the truth of our being. The truth is that you are a spiritual being living in a spiritual world and governed by spiritual laws. All you need to realize is that the choice is always yours. You do have free will. You choose to turn toward the light, the spirit, or you choose to turn toward the confusion of the ego. The ego will always instruct you that it is right to hold on to grievances, that forgiveness is folly. It is the ego that insists that what another individual or group did is unforgivable. Adhering to your ego's belief not only keeps the ego alive, it robs you of experiencing peace of mind and the shift in perception that forgiveness will bring. The Course in Miracles says, if you but knew the glorious goal that lies beyond your forgiveness, you would not keep hold on any thought, however light the touch of evil on it may appear to be. Forgiveness removes you from the evil dream of what has been done to you. And this act alone releases you, offering you freedom, liberation, and healing. Really good stuff. It goes on, and I could go on. And I pray that you hear this. I mean, I understand. I have compassion. I have compassion for you, right where you are. What has happened to you, your experience of that quote-unquote evil, that mistreatment, that misunderstanding, that false accusing person has misunderstood you. I know that. I feel that. I've been there. I've been in those places where I am not seen. I am misunderstood. I'm misrepresented. And my wounding in my own being that I've had to work through, I'm crying to the world, please, don't you see me? Why are you seeing me that way? You know, and I want to fight and control and go, no, please, I gotta fix your perception. I gotta do something about that, and that's crazy. It's insanity. I know you know what I'm talking about. You can't control what another thinks of you. Freedom lies in forgiving them. Freedom lies in not worrying a single moment about the good or bad opinion of another. And just be you. You're beautiful. You're magnificent. You're gorgeous.
This morning, as you were reading, and we have a wonderful brother that always sends thought-provoking readings from Alice Bailey. I don't know if it was in there, but it was just talking about this place of emptiness. When we let go of the need to figure things out, we let go of the need to read everything and read everyone. That place where everything is possible and all forgiveness, all surrender to love can rise from, because there's no need to control anything. And I was overwhelmed by just like listening to that and going, feeling into the peace that is. Because there's nothing to figure out. And we try hard, and sometimes, and especially in our skills that we're developing, these abilities to be more and more in tune with life. If we're not getting into that space, I think Wayne Dyer calls it the gap. That place where there is no need for anything. There's no need for mind. There's no need to figure out. That's where the peace comes from, and that's where we feel the relief, the release, the true release of forgiveness.
I don't know if you're aware, but in Tibet, the Dalai Lama, they have this, what is called the Kali Chakra, and it's the wheels of time. You know, and Heather talked about a little bit of that kind. We're in this return cycle, and it's bizarre. And I don't know if you can relate to this, but you're kind of at a similar moment, a spot in a timeline, but you're a little elevated. And I've always seen like life moves in spirals, right? And so it may seem like you're in that same spot, but you're a little elevated. You know, we're in that similar space, but it doesn't have the same charge. It can. There's a doorway. There's a little door. Right? You can go into that door again and recycle that. But we have an opportunity to raise ourselves out of it, and that's what the Dalai Lama, His Holiness, and what they're doing right now in the sacred dance. You know, the Tibetan people, I mean, millions killed, thousands of temples demolished, people, the Chinese communists coming in and just oppressive, you know, and look at who he is, and look at the life, and just, I honor him, you know, I was watching that last night, and then we had a video playing, and all of a sudden, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. I was replaying, woke me from my dream. I was like, whoa, Om Mani Padme Hum. And what that means is that you are that beautiful, whole, perfect blue jewel in the lotus, untouched by any of the mud, any of the conditions, any of the false things that happened to you, the oppressors, the victimizers. You are untouched. That part of you is untouched. can't be hurt. Om Mani Padme Hum.
In fact, we are forged by, if we think about the lotus is forged through the mud. It requires the mud. It grows out of the mud. We've been talking a lot about the contrast. The only way that we can experience what light truly is if we know and accept and embrace the darkness that has allowed us to see what light really is. And that's when our experience and our knowledge connect, and it becomes wisdom in our life that we now can give to others. So I think I'm going to sing that song. Do not forsake beautiful wisdom. She will protect and guard your life. Love her and she will watch over. She will relieve all pain and strife. Arise, arise, O ancient one. Arise, arise, and sing your song. Arise, arise, O ancient one. Arise and lead us home. Arise and lead us home. Prajna Paramita, beautiful Sophia, Nadi Nahi Mana. You are life, you are peace, Prajna Paramita. Beautiful Sophia, Nadi Nahi Mana. You are life, you are peace. Arise, arise, O ancient one. Arise, arise, and sing your song in each of us. Arise, arise, O ancient one. Arise and lead us home. Arise and lead us home. Arise and lead us home. We know that you're alive within us, O ancient one. You are speaking every moment when we listen. So write your wisdom upon our lives each moment now, and we move forth knowing we have all we need. Arise, arise, O ancient one. Arise, arise, and sing your song. Arise, arise, O ancient one.
As you hear these words, you feel your heart rising. We are rising as one. We are rising as love itself. And we rise from the conditions. We rise from the shackles. We rise out of the prisons, knowing that these prisons are just an illusion. They dissolve like that when we make a choice to turn towards the light of truth. That nothing ever happened. Nothing ever happened that tarnished who we are. We are the infinite. We are powerful. We are wise. We are love itself. Moving forward today, looking at all life, seeing God in everything, seeing the divine in everything, even that which you call bad, dark. God is present right there. There is no spot where God is not. There is no spot where God is not. God is omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient. There is no space where the grace is not present. And so knowing that, we walk forward, we walk in victory, we walk in confidence to look at life and say, I'm here to love you. I am you. I forgive you. And for those that are bent on malevolent intentions, we just go in peace. We set that loving boundary to say yes to love. That I don't need to sign up for more of that abuse. I am equal. I am equal to a greater expression of love because I know who I am. And let them work their stuff out. And so I hold this. This is a prayer field. This is a container of love that is here to bring remembrance, healing, forgiveness for our collective greater good. We raise our hearts, our heads high into the sky and say thank you. Thank you for grace. Thank you for the power and the freedom of forgiveness. We release all of them. And we are free. We are free to live, to love, to receive love. It is safe to love. It is safe to receive love.
Ah, thank you. We're trying to see who's here. Diana, Dana, hi guys. So just a few things that we want to remind you of this Thursday. Is it this Thursday? We have a One Global Family called the Sacred Activism. That's Wednesday.
111.
111, Wednesday. So we'll actually be posting about that.
Join us. We're going to have Chief Phil Lane Jr., a beautiful elder, indigenous elder, and
I think Gary Lynn Floyd is going to join us for music. Is that right?
No, not this one.
Okay. We've got a few things that we're balancing.
But yeah, join us. It's a video conference that you can watch later, or you can join us live. We'll have the link up there for that.
Also, you can go to our website, oneloveandgratitude.com. That is growing and growing and growing. We have, on the 17th, we have an amazing interview that we are so excited and honored to be a part of with Carrie Murphy. And that is Straight Talk for the Soul. We'll put some information about that. But we are actually introducing through Carrie a new program that we're going to be offering. Divine Partnership, taking your love from karma to dharma. And our desire is to help people, both singles and couples, move through what it looks like to take relationships from selfish to service, getting out of ourselves, getting out of our navel gazing, getting out of our over contemplation into a life of divine, purposeful action that has the potential to really change the world. And that's what we're here to do together.
Definitely consider this, everybody. This is a once-in-a-lifetime offer with Carrie Murphy's program that we, it's heavily discounted. And it's an opportunity to join us for 6 weeks where you will have a transformational experience. And you'll get to dive deep into, the journey that we've gone on and the beautiful toolbox that has come through, the burning of everything that's not that love. And it would be our honor to spend 6 weeks with you. Also here, if you're based here locally, we're going to be participating in a Standing Rock benefit Saturday the 14th and Sunday the 15th. and we'll have more information about that.
We'll post that today. Also, we are now officially a nonprofit, and so if you have any people that you know that are corporate donors that would like to contribute to what it is that we're doing and the collaborations that we have to help those who need help, whether it's financially, who need a voice. There's so many things that as One Love and Gratitude we have our hands in terms of partnering up with. So you can go to our website and donate there, and that is a tax deductible donation as well. So thank you to Penny, our mama Penny Olson, who is such a pillar of our life in so many ways, but is a dynamic partner with us in this ministry and helping us get just all of the practicals off the ground. And she is a minister in her own right, a minister and healer. So more on that as well.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on that, if you have found any benefit from this, you've been inspired, you've been, if there's some energetic that you've received, then give back. Just give back. And it doesn't need to be us per se, but just choose to extend, and but we have created a container for that to be received. Because it is time. We've been given freely for a long time, and we're crafting our life to be able to receive.
We want to receive so that we're so excited about being able to really mobilize what it is that we do on a larger scale.
So bless you.
Love you all.
Have an awesome day.
Awesome week.
Bye-bye.